Welcome in to the Drive the Lane podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Andrew Zolden, and my man right here, you know who he is.
I'm Joey Lane.
The former Ohio State basketball player, the legend, Joey Lane.
Oh, geez, you're too kind.
He's a little modest, but he is a legend. And for those of you listening to us for the first time, we're excited to announce that we have teamed up with Lettermen Row. It really was a no-brainer for us. Lettermen Row,
Absolute no-brainer.
One of the premier destinations for Ohio State football and recruiting coverage, expanding a little bit now with adding our college basketball podcast to the show. To the network, I should say.
I mean, I've been a fan of Lettermen Row, even though they've only been around for about a year and a half. From afar, I've been a fan from afar, but it is super, super exciting. Like you kind of said, an absolute no-brainer for us to team up with them. You know, we will have a wider range of guests now, bring the content to Lettermen Row that they've kind of been missing out on in the college basketball world. It's a win-win for both sides.
You know, Lettermen Row's got some other great shows, such as Beanie and the Boom, another great podcast, Tim May's podcast. We couldn't be happier to be joining the family, but all you Drive the Lane fans out there, don't you worry.
Fear not!
It is still the same old Drive the Lane. And to prove that, we're going to give you a word from our sponsor, High Street Tees, who, you guessed it, made this shirt that I'm wearing right now. It's an amazing shirt. And they also make other vintage Ohio State bar shirts. Let me break it down for you.
Please break it down.
Mama's Paps and Brew, R.I.P. Bernie's Bagels, Buckeye Donuts, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. They have all the shirts you could possibly need. They are so cool. There are new game day shirts. We wear them on every game day. They made the shirts for our live show. And you know what? Why don't we save the listeners some money at High Street Tees?
People like to save money.
They do like to save money. So you need to go to highstreettees.com/DTL. And when you're checking out, use promo code DTL15. For how much, Joey?
15% off.
15% off. highstreettees.com/DTL. Promo code DTL15. Buckle up.
And drive the lane!
Buckle up and drive the lane. Let's do this.
Hey, they say that they winning, but to me it's just a blowout. Hey, every week we putting numbers on the board, we show out. Hey, all it took was just a bit of patience with the grind. You can never hold it back. Let's give it showtime.
In this game already. Oh yeah. For this fame already.
What's on today's episode?
Talk a little Ohio State football. A lot of Ohio State basketball, hopefully, because it's basketball season. But obviously, Ohio State football. Talk about some players we're excited from Ohio State football and Ohio State basketball and beyond. Lots of Ohio State, obviously.
And we start off with a bang with our first guest, Mark Titus.
Oh, my God. It's just incredible. Obviously, you guys know me and Mark Titus are two apples from the same tree. But it was a blast talking to my good buddy, Mark. I call him Titus. Yeah, he's the man. He gave us a ton of insanely detailed intel on Intel.
Full disclosure, this is our first Lettermen Row episode, but it's not our first podcast episode.
Right.
We've had guests such as Jared Sullinger, Aaron Kraft, Terry McLaurin, Titus Powell, Joshua Perry, John Diebler, Jalen Brunson, Jesse Rogers, ESPN Chicago, and you can catch those all on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. And that's where you'll get all these shows.
So don't feel, just in case you don't want to be left out on all the inside jokes that we've created in the past 8 episodes or so, make sure you check our old podcasts out because you're not going to want to miss those.
I think it's time we talk about the thing that everyone, including us, has been talking about.
Chase Young.
Chase Young is the front runner for the Heisman.
Yeah, so it's incredible because obviously we watch, all Ohio State fans know how dominating he's been the entire year. But this was kind of the first time maybe that it was put on national display, and the entire world was tweeting about it. So I mean, if you missed the fact that he had 4 sacks and strip sacks and he's got the greatest hair in college football, then that's on you.
Speaking about the whole world tweeting about us, you can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. On Instagram, we are Drive the Lane. On Twitter, we are Drive the Lane.
But what's your
pod? My Twitter is.
Oh, jeez.
Aaron
Jones just caught a touchdown pass, and I lost my fantasy matchup.
My Twitter is at Andrew Zolden. What's your Twitter?
At Joey Smoke 14. Hopefully,
you're probably already following.
Hopefully, you guys are already following.
For being honest, you're already.
They're doing the worm in the end zone.
But
they're doing the worm.
But talking more about Ohio State football, we say this all the time. If defensive players aren't going to have an easier path to winning the Heisman,
there should be 2
There should
awards.
be a defensive Heisman and an offensive Heisman. Or else, what's the point? And I saw a great tweet about this today. It said that...
Did we tweet it?
No, we did not tweet it. It was talking about how proof that they don't care about the defensive players in the Heisman race.
He might have been out of bounds.
Oh, he stepped out when you looked away. He stepped out.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, proof proof that they don't care about defensive players in the Heisman race is when the preseason odds come out. There's no respect to defensive players. Zero.
If you're talking about an offensive award and a defensive award, first of all, Ohio State might. I mean, Joe Burrow is probably first in offense, but there's probably not even anyone else in consideration for defense. So, and then if Joe Burrow loses to Alabama and Ohio State goes undefeated, then Justin Fields or maybe even J.K. Dobbins. Now everyone's talking about him. We might have the 3 best players in the country.
Tua being out kind of narrows it down to this, in my opinion. It's either going to be Burrow if they beat Alabama.
It will be Burrow if they beat Alabama.
It will be Burrow if they beat Alabama. And if Ohio State wins out and LSU loses, it's going to be Fields or Chase Young.
It'd be so cool if it was Chase Young.
It'd be so cool if it was Chase Young. I know someone...
And because we could get him
I know
on the
someone
podcast.
who bet on... I'm not going to say who it is. It's definitely not me. But I know someone who...
Yeah, because we don't win bets.
I know someone who bet on Fields to win the Heisman. So he would be, or she would be a little upset if Fields didn't win. But I think he or she or me would get over it, considering that it would be Chase Young, which would be one of the coolest things to ever happen.
Yeah. No, I mean, Chase Young is so dominant, and if the Heisman truly goes to the best college football player, then why is this even a question? Chase Young is the best college football player right now.
He absolutely is. He is the biggest contributor to the team. And people like Clay Travis say that he's not as important as blah, blah. He's not as important as Fields. He's not as important as Tua. He's not as important. Let me tell you this right now. The University of Missouri, okay, has Kelly Bryant, one of the premier quarterbacks in the country.
Heard of him.
Okay? Maybe you've heard of him. The starting middle linebacker for Mizzou, Cale Garrett, out for the season. Since that moment, they're 1-2, with 2 of those losses being to Vanderbilt and Kentucky. Okay? Quarterback is arguably the most important position. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that the best defensive player, which 98% of the time your best defensive player is the most vocal player on the defense as well.
Yeah.
If you're going to tell me that is not making as big or not bigger than the quarterback, then you're crazy.
Yeah. I'm totally with you. I think Chase Young, maybe he's not the play caller, signal caller, whatever for a middle linebacker might be, but he is definitely the captain, the leader of the defense, and as he goes, the rest of the defense goes. And just like offense, just like a quarterback can make a game-changing play, when he has a strip sack, that is a game-changing play, more so than Justin Fields running for a 5-yard touchdown.
It's just it's unfair. He's too big. He's bigger than everyone else on the field.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
The picture of him standing next to the rest of the captains when they were announced back in August or whatever that was, way earlier than that probably. That picture, I tell my dad that, I show him that all the time because he's like, yeah, he's big, but he's not. He's a football player. They're all big. I'm like, no. He's the Predator. He's massive.
I'm just excited for him to get to the NFL and it's literally pick on someone your own size.
I know, right?
Literally, that expression was made
like a high school
That
bully.
expression was made for Chase Young. Pick on someone your own size. You should not be going up against Jack Cohn. I thought he was going to murder the Wisconsin quarterback.
No, what's funny is that Wisconsin, everyone talks about how they have the most NFL-ready offensive linemen, yada yada. The list goes on and on about all the people they've had in the NFL, and I'm sure the only person that could stop him was Joe Thomas in his prime.
Yeah. Well, maybe, because Joe Thomas let some people buy him.
You want to hear a hot take? Joe Thomas is a loser.
Why? Well, that's not a hot take. He's lost a million games with the Browns.
I mean, he's
a hot take that I
incredible.
saw about Joe Thomas was that he should be to blame for why the Browns' offensive line is not good, because he hung it up last year and didn't even give a chance to come back from injury. And that was the dumbest take I have ever seen. But I would like to hear Dan Dockich's opinion on it, because that would be interesting. Future guest.
It's clear that Dan Dockich, if we're going to get on him for a second, he clearly does stuff so that people are talking about him. So it's not fair to throw Dan Dockich's name around, and the Packers just scored.
I think that was a touchdown. Yeah, looked like a touchdown. They'll review it. One of us may or may not have bet on the Packers, but
it wasn't me. I'm done betting.
This is what I think about the AP poll that just came out.
Tell me what you think about the AP poll.
The AP poll that just came out. Ohio State stayed at number 3.
Which is fine.
Okay. I am totally fine with Alabama winning without Tua and you keeping Ohio State below them. That is totally acceptable to me. But you can't put LSU above them then. You got to keep Bama number one. If you're not going to put Ohio State over them, because Bama beat Auburn, who's now a 3-loss Auburn team.
Yeah.
Or no, 2-loss Auburn team. Florida and LSU.
Yeah, but LSU has 2 top 10 wins. That's the only reason. It's fine. I don't care. It doesn't matter what the AP says.
I know it doesn't matter what the AP says, and I also know...
It's a fullback assist.
Was that Aaron Jones or was it Jamal Williams? Jamal Williams. We're chilling. Okay. So what I also know is that if Ohio State wins out, they're going to be in the playoff. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But from a strict respect point of view, I think you can move LSU over Bama. You can move Ohio State over Bama, but you shouldn't be able to only move one of them. I think they have both proven that they are worthy of that number one spot. But I also think Bama should be number one until proven otherwise.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I guess I'm with you. I don't know.
Ohio State's the best team in the country.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
and like all the power football indexes, like all the BPI, which is basketball, but FPI, I guess, whatever, for football, like ESPN, they have Ohio State at number one. When the college football committee comes out, they'll say that LSU is number one because LSU has these blah 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 wins. We might be 2, we might be 3. Who cares?
Yeah.
When they win
out, we will win the national championship, and we will be there, and we will hopefully be doing a live show.
When you say they'll win out, like obviously,
I mean, if they win out the regular season.
I'm joking. Anyway, it's basketball season. Let's talk about.
I got one more thing to say. I've been waiting this whole time to say it. Then we can talk about your favorite sport that you actually played.
Yeah.
Okay. Minnesota's going to be the team that they play out of the West, and they're going to beat them by 850. All right.
850.
What time of year is it?
Would you? Seth Davis always says, "What if I told you could have taken Minnesota plus 849
to make it to the Big Ten?"
No, it's like when teams get blown out, he'll be like, the Astros are playing the Nationals. He'll be like, "What if I told you you could take the Astros plus 11? Would you have taken it?"
Right.
I would have taken it.
What if I told you that you could have taken Illinois, Vandy, and Kansas last week, 10 to win 800,000?
Would you have done it?
Yeah.
Like, no, yeah, I would have.
So.
I would do just about anything for 10 to win 800.
It's a good time of year, but it's also sad.
The leaves are changing. There's a little snap in the air. I can hear the tennis shoes squeaking on the hardwood floor.
Ooh.
I can hear the balls bouncing. I can hear the net squishing.
But you're hearing it all from home.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad.
That's okay. Yeah. Well, I'm hearing it from home because I haven't touched the basketball in like 6 months. But yeah, it's bittersweet. Like, it's cool to be done and be able to watch, like, my former teammates, like, see them work out and see how great they're gonna do, and be able to feel like not less pressure. There's no pressure, but like, I don't know. It's fun to be a fan.
We talked to Titus a little bit about this Ohio State team coming in ranked 18th in the preseason AP poll. AP poll is going to be a buzzword for this podcast. We talk about the AP poll a lot.
AP polls don't even matter.
I think they matter. But, so, who do you think is walking out onto the court, that opening tip against Cincinnati? Who's that starting lineup for Ohio State game 1?
I think I already mentioned it on a previous podcast, and it was actually the same lineup that Holtman put out in the secret scrimmage, not so secret scrimmage against Louisville. And of course I'm right because I was there 8 months ago in the locker room. I know exactly what's going on. But it'll be CJ Walker. Who's it? Luther? What did I say? CJ Walker, Luther,
Muhammad,
Andre Wesson,
Caleb Wesson.
Well, Kyle Young, Caleb Wesson. Yeah. So that's just the old vet lineup, the people that have been there, done that. Holtman's not going to have any worries throwing those guys out there. They know the system. They know the defensive rotations.
Do we have any update on Musa Jallo?
I talked to Moose. I don't know what I can and can't say. He's doing well, though. He'll be fine.
That's what we like to hear. I think people just want to know that he is doing well.
Yeah, he's doing well. And he's such a positive guy that he's going to be just fine. So I love Moose with all of my heart. So looking forward to his speedy recovery. But those will be the guys that start, I would assume. And then... we'll have DJ Cardinal play a lot. EJ Liddell will play a lot. Zoe, Lonzo Gaffney will play a lot. Obviously, the returning guys will play a lot. Like, that first game will be, especially the exhibition game, will be a lot of Coach Holtman trying to figure out what sticks in like a real basketball setting, because he's used a million different lineups in practice, but until you get out there, which, as I know from experience, it'll be nice for them to bang heads with some other dudes for first time in a while. But you don't know which lineups works until you get out there in the bright lights against another team.
What are you most looking forward to as a fan now of this Ohio State team? Something that you maybe couldn't obviously as a player in October and November you can't really think about NCAA tournament. You can't think about the Big Ten tournament. Is there anything that long term in the season you're excited about, or maybe you're looking ahead to a game that as a player you can't look past the next game? Is there anything that sticks out on the schedule?
I think a handful of games stick out. But I'm most excited, just as an overarching thing, I'm excited about the athleticism that this team will have. Last year we didn't have a ton. The year before, guys like Jay Sean Tate and Kata. Kata's not a super athlete, but in college he can just dominate people with his athleticism. Those guys, we have tons and tons of guys like that. We can just bring in guys off the bench that are going to be catching lobs and throwing lobs and quick and fast and whatever kind of athleticism you want.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah,
Columbus.
Yeah, sure. Even Caleb Wesson, he'll be dunking. I bet you he dunks 20 times this year.
Ohio State's Twitter put out a video last year of Caleb Wesson's baseline jump shot, and when I tell you, I almost teared up watching it. It was one of the most beautiful videos I've ever seen. He just turned, shot it, went perfectly through the net.
Yeah, he's got a feather
and
touch.
I was like, that size of a human should not be able to do anything with that much finesse and
totally.
Be so elegant. He's like a ballerina, and he's huge.
He's awesome. So, Caleb is another guy I'm excited about. CJ Walker, another guy I'm excited about. We'll get into those guys later. But if I'm talking about specific games I'm excited about, these are easy. But, Cincinnati at home, that's the first real test, see what we're made of. Villanova, which Villanova is higher ranked than us, and we're at home. That's a game you got to win if you want to be considered the real deal.
We got to get Jalen Brunson in here for a live stream for that game. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, I think it's impossible, but it'd be fun.
That'd be fun. Maybe he could fly us out to Dallas, and we could do a little Villanova Ohio State live stream.
I guess.
Jalen Brunson is a friend of the show, and also a friend of Joey's. I like to say he's a friend of mine now, but continue.
I guess the only other games are obviously just super, super easy to think of. At North Carolina, which that's such a winnable game. I think North Carolina's got a ton of hype. Obviously, who knows until the ball gets rolled out there and the kids play the game, but
that's why they play the game.
Yeah, exactly. That's right, Boom. And then the last game is when we play Kentucky in Vegas, which is Kentucky and North Carolina, both teams that have a bunch of young guys with a lot of hype. We have the advantage with some guys coming back, and no one can guard Caleb Wesson. So I'm hoping that those games are actually Kentucky probably poses a good matchup against Caleb because they can just rotate in a bunch of 7-footers.
Personally, what I think about this team, when I think about this Ohio State team, is usually it's you can the team with the best veterans will go the farthest. The good mix of vets and young guys, and I think if DJ Carton can meet his expectations, this team's going to be very good. Yeah. And if he can exceed his expectations,
they're going to be great.
You're looking at one of the top 18 teams in the country, which I think voters of America agree with what I just said, which is why they have them ranked where they do.
They say, you know what, DJ Carton exceeds expectations. That's why we have him number 18.
I think that's why.
No, I think I'm so excited for Ohio State. We can get into predictions all I want. Who cares about predictions? No, there's no worth to them. But I can't see this team not making the tournament. I'm super excited about them competing for a Big Ten championship, regular season and tournament, and I'm excited about them having the opportunity to go to the Sweet 16, which is something that me and the returning guys who I've been teammates with for years. That's been our goal since we stepped on campus. So I'm excited to see them get that goal, hopefully, and I can live through them.
Absolutely. I need to plug in my computer real quick. We'll edit that out.
I got an email from FanDuel, and I thought it was
your job.
Yeah. I didn't apply for a job there. I only applied for a job at DraftKings. I don't even know why I did that either. But
all right.
And 3, 2, 1.
Something I'd like to talk about before we get to our interview with Mark Titus.
Yeah.
The Big Ten has a lot of talent, a lot of good point guards, a lot of good players. I think we should discuss. We're going to discuss.
Yeah, whatever Zoltan thinks we do anyway. So
We're going to discuss the players that we are most excited to see this season from the Big Ten, and then we're going to go 2 outside of the Big Ten. We limited ourselves to 1 Buckeye per person.
which was impossible for me. I'm excited about the entire team.
If we did it without any rules, it would have just been 6 Buckeyes.
Yeah, 6 Buckeyes.
Yeah, and probably some overlap. But, should we rotate? How should we do this?
Yeah, you go 1, I go 1.
Okay, so one of the guys I'm most excited for, No Gel Eastern, guard, Purdue. I think he's the best defender in the... Definitely the best, in my opinion, the best defender in the conference. I think you can make the argument for best defender in the country.
Yeah.
He is locked down. You're looking at your best guard being locked down by him every single day.
He can even guard some bigger guys too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6'6" or something with long arms, and he's super athletic, and played in my conference in high school, and I hosted him on his recruiting visit to Ohio State, and he beat me in the conference championship when I was a senior in high school, and he was a sophomore. And he could shoot then, and he couldn't shoot last year, but now he can shoot again.
That's one of the things I'm most excited for with him is to see if he makes that next step with his offensive game.
I think so. I mean, he seems like he's an NBA guy.
I was just gonna say, I think he's an NBA player if he can add
just
more to his
somewhat
offensive game.
just some offensive game, totally.
The NBA's become more random too. Random guys are starting to succeed. Like Kendrick Nunn right now on the Heat.
That's not random.
That's pretty.
He was
random.
one of the best scorers in the Big Ten.
Yeah, but he was pretty small, and for a while they were saying coming out of high school there was so much hype, and then he kind of
it's because he was forced to transfer because he committed some bad things at Illinois.
Well, there you go.
So that's not his fault.
Well, there you go. Well, that's kind of coming out of nowhere, but
it is coming out of nowhere. But I would say less people out of Chicago see it as coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's No Gel Eastern.
No Gel Eastern is one of my 3.
Good pick. Okay.
And Kendrick Nunn on the Heat.
Okay, my first pick, which I alluded to before, is CJ Walker. I've been on a couple of podcasts recently where people ask me who I'm excited about on Ohio State the most. They want me to say DJ Carton or Caleb Wesson or even Andre Wesson. And yeah, I am super, super excited for those guys. But without a doubt, I'm most excited for CJ Walker. So CJ, what he'll bring to the table is he's not going to score 20 points a game, but he's going to manage the team. He's the leader. He's the point guard. He's a bulldog. He's a winner. He's a competitor. Just everything you want in a basketball player, especially what Coach Holtman wants in a basketball player. That's what CJ brings to the table. I'm excited because he's been sitting out, he said he hasn't played a basketball game 580 days. That is such a long time, which honestly I kind of did the same thing every single offseason. But
true.
CJ he was my scout team point guard last year, and just a super, super nice guy. He just had a little baby girl, so he's got a lot to play for, and I'm just so excited for him to get on the court. He's going to be one of the best players, if not the best. I mean, he's not going to be the best point guard in the Big Ten because Cassius Winston's incredible, but the better he is, the better Ohio State will be, which sounds dumb to say that, but Ohio State will go as he goes. Caleb, you know what Caleb's going to give you, but if CJ Walker can be awesome, which I think he will be, it takes Ohio State to a whole nother level.
So my Buckeye that I picked is actually his backup, presumably to start the season.
They could start together.
Or they could start together.
They could play together.
So I wanted to say Wesson. I think Wesson could be the most dominant player in the country this year.
Yeah.
So I just didn't think we really.
That's such an easy answer.
Well, not really thinking outside the box. So I said DJ Carton. I'm very excited for. As I alluded to earlier, if he exceeds his expectations, this team's going to be absolutely incredible. If he meets his expectations, they're going to be really, really good. I want to see if he can do that. I think he can. Everything I've seen on him is that he's just an incredible athlete, incredible passer, incredible playmaker, incredible scorer, and I'm ready to see it in an Ohio State jersey in a real game.
DJ is the most athletic player I've ever seen in person. And that's,
wow.
Is that really saying a lot from a 6-foot white guy from Deerfield, Illinois? Probably
You've
not.
seen a lot of people. You've been around the block.
I know, I've been around the block twice now, but DJ, his quick twitch, fast twitch, muscle, whatever that is. Musa was telling me this too, because Musa is an exercise science major, so he knows all that stuff. And he was like, dude, he is the most athletic person I've ever seen. I was like, okay, Moose, great. And then end of practice comes, and I'm talking to guys, and he goes, hold on one sec. Throws the ball off the backboard and goes between the legs and dunks it. And he just did a 3-hour practice.
He's gonna have some dunks that absolutely tear.
They're gonna make you go
the house down. Tear the house down.
Like the emoji, the eyeball emoji.
He's gonna
this emoji.
He's going to posterize the shit out of someone.
Yeah.
He is going to make a fathead. He's going to turn someone into a fathead.
End of his sophomore year of high school. He comes on a recruiting visit to Ohio State, unofficial visit, plays open gym with us. He tried to dunk the ball every single time he touched it. It was incredible. He did dunk a lot, but not on a ton of people. On you? No, I was on his team. I was hosting him. They always put me on the team with the recruits because I don't shoot a lot.
Him every time.
Yeah, I don't shoot a lot. When I do shoot, I make it. We win an open gym and stuff, and I'm a positive, good teammate and stuff. And I was hosting him, so it was fun. I threw him a backdoor pass actually, and separated my shoulder, and tore my labrum.
How's it feeling now?
It's good. No, I didn't miss. I missed like 3 weeks of that. It was like the spring, so like we were about to go home anyway, so I just missed the rest. It was nothing, but I'm good now. I mean, still got the stroke.
Yeah, still wet.
Which I haven't even shot in like 6 months.
So
yeah.
we'll do a shooting video soon to show people you still got it.
Ooh, I like that idea.
So those are 2 of mine. Okay. 2 of my 3. No gel. DJ Carton. Who you got number 2?
My next pick, Jordan Bohannon from Iowa. He had hip surgery over the summer.
Drive the boat. And
people thought that he wasn't like Fran McCaffrey came out and said like, hey, like yeah, we're operating as if Bohannon's not going to play this year. He'll medical redshirt and play his 5th year next year. And that was kind of sad because me and Jordan have became kind of close buddies because
future guest
probably honestly, but he, like when you're playing Big Ten basketball, like you play against these guys so much, you become friends. Like obviously on the court, everyone's enemies, but you could become friends. And then Bohannon and we were 2 of the guys that started playing Fortnite like first. So then we would play Fortnite together. We tried to start a podcast actually. And we recorded an episode and it got deleted because I didn't know what the shit I was doing. So so that there's a little inside story. Yeah, I need this guy, but yeah, Jordan, I mean, the dude is so much fun to watch. I always joke that he is the scholarship version of me because even though I was on scholarship, he is like an inch taller than me, shoots from like half court, has the ultimate green light. He plays like I played in AAU. Like it's really he's really fun to watch, and I'm just excited for him because he's defying the odds and he's going to be healthy to start the season. At least that's what it seems like. And
we're wishing him the best for this season.
Oh my God, we're just wishing
we want him to have 28 good games this year and 2 games against Ohio State.
We might only play them once.
1 game against Ohio State. We might see him in the tournament. We don't want to play well against Ohio State. Or we want to play well and
just lose. Yeah.
Well in a loss.
Yeah. I'm rooting
for
that
Terry
guy,
McLaurin stat line.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Jordan is awesome dude, so I'm rooting for him.
That's another good one for you. My 3rd.
Thanks.
Ayo Dosunmu. Okay?
Close.
Dosunmu?
Close.
Dosunmu? What is it?
It's like Ayo... Yeah, you got it. It's sumo.
Yeah. Ayo the sumo.
Ayo the sumo wrestler.
Ayo the sumo. It's not often that I have a playing with story about a player in the Big Ten, but I played pickup once with Ayo.
With me.
With Ayo. No, you weren't there.
I know, but you played pickup.
Oh, I do play pickup with you. But I played pickup with Ayo when I was like a freshman in high school, and he was like 12, and he was unbelievable then.
Of course he was.
So I'm very excited to see him. Some people were saying that he could have left after last year to go to the NBA.
I could have left after my freshman year too.
I think he could have. I think he could have left and been like, whatever, 2nd round pick or like a G League.
Yeah,
player.
I'm glad he stayed because you get the legacy and then you can become a lottery pick.
Right. I think he's gonna have an unbelievable year this year and propel himself into a 1st round pick. Yeah, Illinois fans enjoy Ayo because he's gone after this year.
It might be Ayo.
I think it's Ayo. Enjoy Ayo, and because by the time this time next year, all you're gonna have is Lovie Smith in his beard. So,
I think we should talk.
Kofi Cockburn.
I think we should. What a name! I think we should talk about the fact that
his nickname should just be STD.
That's good.
That's good. Oh my God! An STD with a putback slam.
Could you imagine? No, but if we're talking about Illinois really quickly. I think we need to slow the roll a little bit on Illinois because, yeah, they have some great guys. Like, they have great talent. But that system, I just don't see it working. They just press and deny and play full court defense all game, and they chuck up shots. And I don't know. They beat us last year, so what do I know? But until they can prove it.
I'm not saying that they're going to be that good, but I think Ayo is going to be one of the most. Most exciting players. Not just in the Big Ten to watch, but in the country to watch.
Yeah, he's going to be great.
Who's your 3rd?
Wait, before I get to my 3rd, you talked about playing with someone when they were 12 years old in pickup. Nogel Eastern, if we're getting back to that, was on my AAU team, or at least practiced with my AAU team a lot. When he was in 8th grade, and I was a junior in high school, I think. So, and he was one of the best players there too. So
another really random connection for me with no gel. I went to a 5-star basketball camp. You know, some players got invited for free. I paid to go to a 5-star basketball camp. And
so this is a 5'9" center.
And no gel was my roommate. My, like, suite mate.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Should I text him?
Do you have his number?
Yeah.
Actually?
I'll text him later.
I have his number too.
Should we make a group chat? Okay, we'll text him later.
Anyway,
God damn it, Rogers.
My last pick.
Sorry.
It's okay. We're watching the Packers-Chiefs game live Sunday night, so a little more action for us. Anyway, my last pick is not a super serious pick, but it's my good friend Jack Hoiberg, who plays for Michigan State. That's Jack is the guy that whoa, talk about a breaking news. I honorarily, sure. I took the liberty of shoot, how do I want to say this? Cut
this out.
Theoretically, not theoretically. Whatever.
What are you saying?
I passed my torch of the towel gang to Jack Hoiberg, who plays for Michigan State. Me and Jack worked out like all summer, all the time, past like 3 summers. He plays for Michigan State, so I'm passing the torch onto him in the towel gang world. So hopefully he wears a towel on the bench. If he doesn't, then whatever, then he's dead to me. But that's not why I'm excited. It's just a long-winded answer for me to give some love to a Michigan State guy, because Michigan State is going to be incredible this year. I know they lost Josh Langford, but they didn't have him last year. But they have some exciting young talent coming in, like that dude who played with LaMelo Ball, Rocket Watts.
He's good.
Cassius Winston is the best player in the country. He might have been the best player in the country last year.
Speaking of LaMelo Ball, future number 1 pick.
Future guest of the podcast. But yeah, I mean, Cassius Winston's awesome. Xavier Tillman's awesome. Kyle Ahrens is incredible. I went to his wedding this summer and hung out with all the Michigan State guys, and we had a blast. And Justin Ahrens was there too, obviously. But yeah, I'm giving love to Jack Hoiberg, but I'm really giving love to Michigan State. Shout out Connor George as well. And Foster Lawyer.
So there's our 3 Big Ten guys. We kind of talk about teams a little bit with that too. We're going to move out of the Big Ten a little bit.
Sure.
2 players/teams that we want to watch outside of the Big Ten.
I'll go first for this one.
Go ahead.
Oregon has a white point guard by the name of Peyton Pritchard. Who doesn't wow you with his athleticism.
Okay.
Obviously, because
his name is Peyton.
Yeah, his name's Peyton. But doesn't wow you with his athleticism, but he is just one of those stereotypical guys that you're just like, holy moly, that is a great college basketball player, and Oregon's going to be pretty darn good this year. So, actually, another funny story, when I was playing in Vegas, my freshman year going into my sophomore year of high school, Peyton Pritchard's team was playing on the other court next to us in the gold bracket. We were both in the gold bracket, not the Brad, which is the highest bracket. Peyton was playing for his dad as like a 7th grader, or would that be the right? Yeah, because he's a year younger than me, 8th grader, whatever. He wasn't in high school, and he was the best player on the court and the best player I saw in Vegas. And obviously, in Vegas, that's like the highest ranked players in the country all coming together and playing together. So since then, I like followed him on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. So I've seen him like progress from a great high school player where he won 4 state championships in Oregon to committing to Oklahoma, then decommitting, then committing to Oregon to stay home, and he led them to the Sweet 16 last year and led them to the Pac-12 tournament championship. Like, that dude is the engine of Oregon, and they might win the Pac-10 if not, or Pac-12 or whatever it's called now. If not for
Pac-2.
Arizona. Yeah, it's literally the Pac-2.
All right, I like that. That's going out west.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah, throw some little Pac-12 after dark.
I'm gonna go down south with my first other team/player to watch.
How down south?
Pretty south.
Okay.
The top recruit in the nation on most sites, James Wiseman. Okay, headed to Memphis along with 17 million other
that are making $17
recruits.
million each.
Well, we don't want to say anything bad about Memphis.
Why?
I like Penny. I don't like him. But James Wiseman,
Anthony.
Personally, I don't think he's going to be anything special in college.
Whoa!
I think
They call him the unicorn.
I think he'll be like Chris Bosh in the NBA. But I think in college he's going to... I think in college he's going to struggle a little bit because they have so much freshman talent.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they have a lot of experienced players that can.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. He's just gonna.
But this is what I'm thinking.
He's overwhelming.
I would like to see him prove me wrong. I don't dislike him.
You hear
I'm
that,
just
James
saying,
Wiseman?
Prove me wrong.
Prove him wrong.
I just don't have a lot of faith. I think he's not going to be like. I think someone like DJ Carton will have a better freshman year than James Wiseman. But I would like I don't want him to be better than Carton, but I would like to see him kind of prove me wrong and be the best player on a very good team in Memphis.
He will be appointment television regardless. The dude is just an insane talent. I mean, like,
Memphis has national championship talent, but I don't know if they have.
They might not even make the tournament.
But I don't know if they're going to. That's exactly what I was going to say. I don't know if they're going to make the tournament, but they have national championship talent.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. My last one is going to be a point guard. God, I picked all point guards, but that's the most fun to watch in basketball. At Georgetown, not named Mac McClung, though.
Ooh.
James Akinjo. This dude, Mac McClung got all the hype because he had 1 million followers on Instagram, and he was like really, really short, doing these incredible dunks.
He was pretty
in high
sick
school.
last year, though.
Oh, I know, he was great. Yeah. But Akinjo was a better player, and he's coming back, and they are really, really good together, and Georgetown is going to take a huge step forward, I think, this year. And Akinjo is just like lightning in a bottle. The dude is so fun to watch.
Fair enough. I like that one. My last one,
Thanks.
quick and easy. I think Marquette, is going to have a Russell Westbrook revenge type year. The Hauser brothers left.
They ditched him.
I think he is angry. He's one of the top candidates.
More
for
or less
Naismith
than
Player of the
30
Year.
shots a game.
More.
Yeah,
50
he might take 50 shots a game.
But I think he's going to have an incredible stats year. I think he's going to have a Trae Young college-esque year.
But he won't win
But he won't win the Naismith Player of
because
the Year.
Cassius Winston will win it.
Because they'll be a better team.
Yeah.
But he could get the Westbrook nod if he just has like insane stats and they make the tournament and he's clearly the best player in the conference. I think he's going to have a very, very exciting year.
Do you like Russell Westbrook?
I flip back and forth with him.
I don't. I'm not a huge fan.
I didn't like him when he had
to.
Durant, and then I loved him when he went crazy that one year.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of back to like there's other point guards and other players in the NBA that I like better.
Yeah, I respect him. He's incredible, but I'm not a fan. The way he plays, I don't know. He plays with so much heart, and it's hard to say I don't like the way he plays. Just, I don't know.
I think it's time to get to our interview with Titus.
Yeah.
We talk about just about everything with Titus. Anything you can think of, we talk about with him.
From the Cubs to Ohio State basketball to the rest of college basketball.
To his thoughts on Coach K.
I mean, like, we got into a lot of stuff with Coach K. I hope Coach K doesn't listen to this podcast.
Me neither. But we would love to have him as a guest. Buckle up. Buckle up. Buckle up.
And drive the
lane.
Titus.
I'm ready.
Okay. I mean, it sounded like you just passed out and threw the phone down.
You want me to introduce you?
No,
we got it.
All right.
All right, we now welcome on to the Drive the Lane podcast. Free agent in the podcasting world, free agent shooting guard, the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Titus. Welcome on to the show, my man.
It's fantastic to be on the show, Joey. I'm worried about you, though. I got to be honest, man. You graduated. You're starting a podcast. Like, what was your degree in? How do your parents feel about this? Because, like, every time I ask you what you're up to, what job you're doing, where are you living, all I ever get is, like, you're doing a podcast and you're waving the towel still, and it's like, should I be worried about you? Like, do you have some source of income? Do we have this figured out? Do we have the postgraduate life figured out yet, or is that the whole point? We're just starting a podcast. It feels like you're just taking the Joe Rogan advice. Just like start a podcast. That's what Joe Rogan tells everybody. Just start a podcast. Figure it out later.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever give me a chance to answer, I'll answer that question.
Okay, fine. All right.
Yeah, basically my degree was in podcasting from the Fisher School of Business at Ohio State.
Okay.
And I just, it's a seamless transition into having my own podcast and stuff. But in all seriousness, I am looking for a job proactively, but I made it a point to take some time out after a summer internship I had to hang out and be with the fam and be with friends that I hadn't hung out with or seen over the 4 years, because you know how hard it is to be a student athlete, be a basketball player.
Of course.
So yeah.
And listen, I'm not job shaming you either. Like, as you said, I am currently unemployed myself.
No, yeah, we're both unemployed, so.
Yeah, it's great. So, like, everyone looks at us as, like, lovable walk-ons at Ohio State. It's like, man, I'm so jealous of those guys. They had so much fun, all that. It's like, folks, this is the side they don't show you, is that neither one of us have jobs right now. You know, like that comes with the territory. So
Yeah,
it's,
exactly. It's all glamorous. It's all glamorous until we think podcasting is a side gig, and we're like, oh shit, this might be what we're stuck with.
Yes.
Titus, you got a little more experience than Joey and myself do, so your job hunting may be a little easier. What's next for you? Any leads? Any news on that front?
No, honestly, this has been the most fun time of my life, not working, because one, I'm not working. That's great. Work sucks. I think Blink-182 had a song about that one time. So that part's been great, but the other part is like I feel the love so much. Like I was never, as we know, like a highly touted recruit coming out of high school. I don't even think I qualify as a recruit coming out of high school. I was just a guy. Yeah. Right, so like I never got to experience this thing. Even if I was a highly touted recruit, I was too old for the internet to. Basically, you have a bunch of strangers in your mentions just saying like, please join this team or go to this media company or whatever. I have been loving that. I love the attention. I love that. Like right now, I can just tweet right now like announcement coming Friday and like get people into a frenzy. And they're like, oh shit, is it happening? It's been great. I'm getting wined and dined. I'm getting flown across the country for meetings. People want to meet with me. I don't think I'm ever going to get a job. Like honestly, I think I'm going to make this my job. It's like being a free agent. I'm going to be a permanent free agent that just gets wined and dined and gets my ass kissed because people want to hire me.
Mark Titus, professional free agent.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great gig. I love it.
Friday night, you should tweet huge news coming Monday, and then Monday at 8 a.m. be like, I'm on today's episode of the Drive the Lane podcast.
There you go. That could be good. Yeah, we'll do that. Or I thought you were going to say just like perpetually keep announcing the next announcement. Be like, the announcement coming Monday, and then Monday's announcement is like, my next announcement will be Wednesday.
Yeah, there was.
Just keep doing that over. But in all seriousness, man, like I'm getting close. Like I feel like we're on the 5-yard line. I got a few. I'm lucky enough to. The problem with me not working is not that I can't find anybody to hire me. It's that I'm trying to figure through like my options and what like company I go to is going to piss the fewest number of people off and. While also making me the most money and like doing all those calculations, and that's pretty much where I'm at. It's like I got my agent on the phone, like figuring it all out. We're just trying to figure out how all the puzzle pieces are going to fit together. So hopefully in the next week or so, I'll have it figured out.
That sounds good. I might have to talk to your agent because my agent isn't doing so well right now.
I'm doing a good job. What are you talking about? I did see you narrowed it down to a top 16. You want 16? We're looking good.
You want to cut it to 8 on the show?
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but my top 16 had like 30-something media companies on it.
And it had teams.
Listen, InfoWars is a dark horse. I think I just want to say that.
Don't sleep on InfoWars.
Yeah, I'm not tipping my hand here, but let's just put it this way. I've been liking a lot of tweets from people that are like, go to InfoWars. I'm in there like liking the tweets. I would love to see a mock-up of me like wearing the InfoWars jersey. Whatever it is these recruits do, where they're just like I think that's what I should do is like tweet a picture of myself wearing some sort of InfoWars
and then say not committed.
Yeah, then put hashtag not committed, but also put the eye emoji. Be like, I don't know, what do you think, guys?
Yeah, exactly. My favorite part about hosting recruits would be 2 things. One thing that you already kind of talked about, when like I'd have their number, I'd be friends with them on Snapchat or whatever. They're supposed to commit on Thursday, and they post on Wednesday night. They're like, commitment's being postponed. And then I got to text the coaches like, hey, the commitment's being postponed. and that was great. But then it was also great when they would send out, like, hey, how do I look in this jersey? Not committed. Like, no shit, you're not committed. You're on campus right now.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I also like how you're just bragging and stunning on me that you got to host recruits.
Yeah. I will say the coach that we shared in common did not let me host recruits. So if that makes you feel better. I did host one, actually. I hosted one in 2 years.
I asked Coach Mata one time, why can't I was like, Coach, I noticed that every other guy on this team gets to host recruits, but except me. Even let Danny Peters host recruits because Danny wanted to be a coach. So he kind of like he's like, yeah, Danny knows what to do. He knows the ropes. I'll let Danny host the guy. So I was the only guy that never got to host anybody. And I asked him one time, and he said, yeah, that's because we want these guys to come here.
You would have showed them a good time.
I definitely would have.
They might not have.
They might have been walking away with an arrest.
Yeah, they might not have came back to the shop the next day, but they would have had a good time.
Yeah. They would have been in handcuffs or in a coffin or something. I don't know, but we would have had a lot of fun.
It would have been a great time.
So one of the goals for this podcast for tonight, for this episode for us, is to let you kind of show off your talent a little bit and what you can bring to the table. So the preseason college basketball AP poll is out. Thoughts on it? Let's hear it.
Okay, so I tweeted this. Ohio State, we come in at 18th. I think that's perfect for us. I think, if there's anything Holt loves, it's thinking his team is garbage in October. So this works out well because, we all know that Ohio State's better than 18th. We're going to be one of the best teams in the country. I'm very excited for this team this year. I'm very excited for DJ Carton. I don't know if he's even going to start. It doesn't matter. I'm just excited to watch him play. So I want to start there. On the one hand, we're better than the 18th best team, but on the other hand, I really, really like this. As I said, UConn in 2014 was ranked 18th to start the season.
Whoa!
I'm a guy that loves finding these meaningless connections between things, these parallels that you can point to. And I tweeted this that if you go back to the last 6 national champions, more national champions have been preseason number 18 than number 1, number 2, or number 3 combined. So I don't know. You do the math for me. That's what I learned from the AP poll, is that the Buckeyes have a better shot than Michigan State or Kentucky or Kansas to win the title.
Yeah, I'm good with guaranteeing a Buckeye national championship if you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, the AP poll, Joe, you know this. It's cool. It's fun. It's the only reason it exists, and I think voters were wising up to this. The only reason it exists is to get people excited for the start of the season.
Totally.
The preseason poll, and it's hilarious that the voters put the top 4 teams as the 4 teams that are going to be playing in the Champions Classic. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think this is where we're always trending. Because as a sport, the whole point of the Champions Classic is just to grab everyone's attention. And what better way to do it than 1 versus 2 and 3 versus 4? Are those the 4 best teams in the country? Of course not. But it doesn't matter. The people that don't follow college basketball don't know that, so they're going to be tuned in. And
it's got to be the names at the top anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So
Titus, I got a name for you to watch out for. All right.
Okay, hit me with it.
Ronnie Suggs on SIU. Okay. He was at Mizzou last year. He worked up from a walk-on to a scholarship.
Andrew went to Mizzou.
I went to Mizzou.
That's why he knows this guy.
His best game was 17 points against Kentucky. Okay.
Okay.
And then he grad transferred to SIU. Watch out for him. He's my player to watch this year.
Okay. He played for Mizzou last year, you said?
Yes.
All right. That's why I didn't know about him.
Hey,
he's a Saluki now.
We've been in the news. The border war is back. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. That's the Missouri versus Kansas is Ohio State versus Michigan football. It's the same thing. It's my God, it's hilarious to me to watch as an outsider. But no, I would love for Missouri to be good again. I would love for I don't know. It's tough. I have a couple friends out here in LA, but just in the journalism world at large. I don't know if you guys heard, Mizzou has a good journalism school.
I've told Joey a couple times.
I don't know if you've heard. I don't know if they talk about it ever, the people that went to the journalism school. But so I have a couple friends that are Mizzou people, and I guess I didn't realize how tortured a fan base, just basically football too, just all of Missouri sports is, until I met some people that went to Mizzou. And, so I'm always rooting for the underdog. I'm always rooting for the except for Michigan football, screw them. But I'm always rooting for the downtrodden to get their revenge or get back. And how about Kansas? Is Kansas even going to have a program next year?
That brings us to our next question. Let's talk a little about the Snoop Dogg little incident. Was that the dream come true for you to see?
I love the stance that kind of the prevailing thought that came out of that seemed to be like, you booked Snoop Dogg, what did you expect? And I think that was my thought through it all. I was really disappointed that Kansas apologized, if I'm being honest, because their attitude towards this whole FBI thing was like, screw the system, you can't prove it. They're just basically doing the Trump thing. They're just yelling fake news, you can't prove it. And I respect the hell out of that because it's funny. Because listen, I don't get involved with the political. No one cares what I think politically. So, but like the politics stuff, there's like real stakes. There's like it actually affects people's lives. College basketball, who gives a shit about any of this? If we're being honest, it's just like a fun game that kids play. So I love the idea of Kansas just coming out and being like, you can't prove it. We didn't do anything. Prove it. And Bill Self does the promo video where he's wearing chains and he got the Adidas shirt up.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Dude, I love the whole thing. So like that was what I thought the whole attitude was going to be. Was like Bill Self. I mean, even Bill Self's statement that he put out was pretty like it was kind of an FU to the NCAA. It was like he should have just Xeroxed his middle finger and put it on the copy machine and then just like submitted that as his official statement. That's what it kind of felt like.
The bad boys of college basketball.
I love this whole attitude. It was like they're going to win the national championship and then just give double middle fingers. And I thought that's what the whole attitude was going into the season. And then they apologized for the Snoop Dogg thing. And I was like, no, that's not what we want from you. We want you to come out and be like,
pick a side.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my only disappointment. But otherwise, I love the thing. And listen, as someone who shot the money guns, I've shot those money guns on television before, working the 3-on-3 thing. Like, of course you're shooting. Like, anyone who's criticizing like Snoop Dogg having strippers and shooting money guns and all that kind of stuff, like get one of those money guns in your hand and shoot it. Like,
yeah, try not to shoot it when it's in your hand.
Yeah, it's the most fun thing ever. So yeah, more power to.
So when all that Bagman stuff really got big, which was similar time to the 3-on-3 tournament, that was when Migos dropped the song, you get the bag, I get the bag.
Yeah,
and that changed my friends and I's life in terms of talking about college basketball. How big of an impact did that song have on you?
Oh, it's been great. It could not have been better timing because when we started our podcast, we decided to just kind of make a lot of jokes about coaches cheating. And that sort of became our shtick. And like you said, like the rap culture, getting the bag and securing the bag and all that kind of stuff became part of the vernacular where people are using the bag. So to the point that like you get these white people that have never heard rap music that like will see their favorite NBA player tweet something like secure the bag or something.
And they're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, and then people will send me those tweets and they're like, yo man, I think Donovan Mitchell listens to your podcast. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think Donovan Mitchell listens to rap music. That's what I think. But it was good. It was good for our brand because we had all these corny white people that listen to our podcast that had no idea that secure the bag and all that kind of stuff is like a saying. They thought like we invented that, so that was pretty cool. That was a great time. And then the FBI thing hits, and it's like, oh my god, this could not have worked any better in our favor. So we were very lucky at the time with all that, which is why we just canceled the podcast. Very smart of us to
and on a high note,
right as everyone's about to get screwed by the FBI, you're jumping out of the bag business.
Right.
But if we're talking about corny white dudes and coaches that cheat, I guess we should talk about Duke a little bit.
Great segue.
That's a great segue, right? Let's talk a little bit about Coach K. Give me something about him.
Fellow Chicago guy. Does that matter to you?
Not at all.
Okay. What do you want me to give you about him? Like the guy is.
I need.
Why does he recruit such fat recruits? That's something that I've been wondering.
Okay. So like, why is that?
That's another segue to another question.
Coach K is a man of integrity, and he's been coming under fire recently for basically getting every top recruit that ever exists. And there are people out there that say the man cheats, and I just want to say, if having a recruit's family move across the country into the nicest neighborhood in Durham, North Carolina, and mysteriously living in a house that's 3 times more expensive than their budget, than the house they moved from, if that's cheating, then you know what? Guilty as charged. I guess you can say he is cheating. But where I'm from, that's just called good old-fashioned recruiting. And I think the man is being wrongfully accused of some things. In all honesty, the brazenness of just getting the top 3 recruits last year in the midst of like you have all these reports of wiretaps and all these guys are going down, and you have the guy, the head of the FBI or whatever his title was. He's got these flow charts doing a press conference, and he's pointing at the camera, and he's like, we have your playbook. We're coming for all of you. If you've ever paid anybody anything, if you're a college coach that's ever spent a dime on anything, we're coming for you. We're throwing your ass in prison. And Coach K's like, really? Well, I'm gonna get the top 3 recruits in the country, so suck my balls. And I absolutely love the brazen, just how brazen he was about it all. And yeah, I mean, the man's a legend for a reason. So, but is he paying guys? No, of course not. Of course not. Why would he do such a? He's a man of integrity.
If we're talking Coach K, there was a part of me that was super naive, and I thought, because I grew up as a kid I'm a white guy, guard. Like, I was like, Duke is.
Are you a white guy? That's interesting.
I'm a white guy. Yeah.
I never noticed that.
Yeah. Always have been, always will be. But I grew up like kind of liking Duke because some of the guys like had similar games to me. And then when I got to school, I'm like, no way they cheat. Like, people just want to go play for the Brotherhood, and Coach K is the best coach of all time. Like, and then I graduated, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys are cheating motherfuckers. There's no doubt about it.
And I think that's the thing that rubs people the wrong way is not necessarily that they cheat, because like listen, if we're gonna crucify college basketball coaches for cheating, that's a long line. We're gonna be exhausted by the time we get done doing that. But it's this brand, as you said, the Brotherhood brand. The Coach K is like this leader, this molder of young boys into men, and leader of men, and man of integrity, and like Bob Knight disciple, and Bob Knight never cheated, wouldn't stand for it, neither would Coach K, and like this whole persona about who Coach K is like, it's so hilarious because it's all bullshit.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Also, on top of it, like if you talk to guys that like played for the guy, like they love him because of course, why wouldn't you love the guy? Like first of all, he's giving you a ton of money.
Yeah, you paid for your parents' mortgage.
Secondly, you won a ton. You win a ton of games. He launches your NBA career, all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying like the guy has not had a net positive on the sport, but I think he also has this. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I always kind of was under the impression that Coach K was sort of like Bob Knight without the yelling, without the temper. And Coach K has a temper. I think this is something that like is also lost and somehow is like hidden from the media. Like Coach K will motherfuck guys and is not afraid to. And we'll say some just like, I don't know. And that's always fascinating to me too, because I don't understand how he has this. I mean, he doesn't have a perception of being like a Roy Williams, oh shucks, dadgummit type guy, but like. I think if you got like an unfiltered like what the Duke documentary from last summer where they got behind the scenes and were filming practice and all that, I think if you saw like the raw footage from there, like the footage that Coach K squashed and said that should never see the light of day, I think if you showed that to the public, there would be a lot of people that are like, holy shit, I did not know this guy was like this.
Can you imagine Coach K sitting in front of a gigantic like Apple computer screen with his reading glasses on saying, no, gotta cut that, no.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Do you ever worry that with all the stuff you're saying or have said about coaches and Coach K that you might wake up dead or murdered one morning?
The one guy, I'm not scared of Coach K.
You're scared of Coach Cal, though. I guarantee it.
Cal, a little bit.
Yeah.
Cal, because Cal's family's come at me. Like Brad was not happy with me. And
let's not talk about him.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it because it's going to get back to him that I even mentioned his name. Please bleep his name. That I just said. Cal a little bit, but the one guy that actually does terrify me is Rick Pitino, because I am not afraid to say anything about the guy, which doesn't make I don't mean to say that like I'm a badass. I just mean like I think Rick Pitino is the funniest figure college basketball has ever seen, and I think I can't help myself but to make a ton of jokes about him, and I also would not be surprised if Rick Pitino knows people that can make things go away for him. So, yeah, that would be the one thing I'd be scared, because like I make jokes about everybody. I make jokes about every coach, even the guys I love, especially the guys I love. Honestly, like I seem to make more jokes about people I like than I don't. But Pitino's the one guy that like I pull no punches with, because it's just the funniest. His whole career arc is like hysterical. Everything he says is hysterical, and for that reason, that paired with the fact that he looks like a man who is connected. I mean, that would be it. Like if the headline was like Mark Titus was murdered by a college basketball figure, or by someone with connections to a college basketball figure, it was Patino. It was definitely Patino.
I'm almost 100% certain that there's a room somewhere in the country that has that huge screen, like at the end of Dark Knight, that Batman looks at.
Oh yeah.
That's just sitting in a room is Saban, Urban, Belichick, Patino, Coach K, and Cal, and they just have eyes on everything and everyone.
Yes.
And if you say anything, you're dead.
Yeah, that's
We love Urban though.
I think one of the things that'll save me from Patino is that, again, if you were to make a list of people that are making a ton of Patino jokes and really going at this man. And if he was to set out to ruin the lives or in the lives of everyone that's ever made fun of him, he would be very busy. He would not have time to do anything else.
He'd be super busy, and I'm afraid, would not be high on the list, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm hoping I would not be that high on the list. So I think that's the one thing that would save me. So I think I might be okay.
Yeah, it's safe to say that you are safe.
It's safe to say I'm safe. I like that.
So I want to swing back.
Thanks.
This is a very big going back to what we were talking about. Who's the dark horse for Player of the Year in college basketball?
Yeah, because we're talking about Patino, who is kind of like Coach K, and Zion played for Coach K. So going back to the Player of the Year, who's this year's Player of the Year?
All right, great segue.
Thank you. I'm a pro.
My dark horse for Player of the Year is Nico Mannion. I am the president of Nico Nation. If you don't know who Nico Mannion is, educate yourself. He is a 6'3" point guard from Arizona who is, as I believe, I don't think this is a problematic word yet, ginger.
No, you're good. He's Italian ginger. It doesn't even count, really.
I have many friends who are ginger. I actually do, by the way. Like I was saying that as a joke, but
I had 2 roommates who were gingers.
2 of my best friends in the world are gingers, and it's hilarious to. I think part of why I became friends with them is because I know I can go anywhere and they'll have sunscreen, and I don't ever have to buy sunscreen. So anytime we go fishing together, I know I don't have to pack sunscreen. It's great because I know they'll have SPF. My one buddy's named Keller. I'd call it SPF Keller because it's like putting paint on. And anyway, as a segue, so Nico Mannion, the guy, I fell in love with him because he just looked. Let's be honest, there aren't a lot of redheaded Italians other than Dante DiVincenzo who are great at basketball, right? So the idea that this guy was a highly touted recruit, I thought it was just kind of funny that he looked like he did.
And he reclassified up.
Yeah, and I was playing into that, and then I watched him play. I started paying attention, and I really fell in love because the dude can go. He is so good. I don't actually think he's going to win Player of the Year, but I am 100% rooting for him. And I believe it or not, maybe I won't after I say this publicly, but I have a vote for the Wooden Award.
Whoa!
I am on the advisory board for the Wooden Award. I get say in this.
How? Why? What? How?
It's probably me and 4,000 other people, so my vote is diluted.
No, but your vote, the fact that they should have more people like you on the panel, because everyone else is probably just old idiots. Old farts.
Right.
Sorry, I don't know.
I agree. Everybody that does not share my opinion is an idiot. I agree with that, Joe.
All right, good. We're on the same page.
I'm gonna be the guy though. Even if there's 4,000 people and my vote's diluted, I'm gonna be the one guy that ruins the unanimous vote. Cassius Winston averages a triple double. Michigan State goes undefeated, and I'm still voting for Nico Mannion.
That's good. Die on the sword.
3,999 first place votes to Cassius Winston and 1 to Nico Mannion. You finishes 12th overall in the Player of the Year running.
You were 1 year. You weren't on the panel or whatever last year, were you?
Last year, I think I did get a vote last year, but it was not as fun because it was Zion from pretty much the opening tip of the Duke Kentucky.
Yeah, but how funny would it have been if you voted for me?
Oh, yeah, that would have been funny. I should have done that. Yeah. Whoops. Shoot.
Dick.
Shoot, crap.
Shoot, dadgummit.
Do you have any, so similar to what you were just talking about, do you have any...
The segues are just on fire.
Yeah, you're really setting us up. Do you have any players who you've stuck with that may have ended up sucking, but you still think there's a chance they'll be good, either now in the NBA or as a junior, senior in college?
Jaquan Lyle, does he count, Joey?
Absolutely. I talk about being on the hype train about him. I have a short list of guys, and Nico Mannion's definitely on it. Jaquan, I'm so excited for him.
Yeah, Jaquan Lyle, I can't quit him because I came to one practice when he was at Ohio State when he was a freshman, and I was like, this kid is unbelievable. He's so good. And he was good. Like, he's one of the most talented guys.
He was incredible.
He's honestly one of the most talented guys that Thad Matta has ever brought into Ohio State.
Without a doubt.
Unfortunately, there's more that goes into it than just being talented. And I don't know.
And fortunately for us.
Yeah, Joe, you know more than I do, so I won't speak out of school here.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm rooting for the guy in the sense that I don't know him personally that well, but I really loved his game, and I think that the wheels kind of fell off for him, and obviously he's in New Mexico now and trying to resurrect his career and all that. And I don't know how good he's actually going to be, but like if you told me Jaquan Lyle was like averaging a triple-double in New Mexico, I'd be like, yeah, that makes total sense to me.
Yeah, I give you complete permission to root for him. He's a great dude. He had a couple things go wrong, like you said, and I think it's safe to say that those kind of woke him up and made him realize, like, all right, this is kind of my last shot, and it's time to make this shit happen. So I'm excited for him. I'm glad that we share an opinion. He's the man. He was always Coach Rich used to call him. Coach Rich was the strength coach with Coach Mata. Coach Rich used to call him the fattest point guard in the country for like 2 straight years. So I'm sure that weighed on him a little bit because now he looks like he's in the best shape ever.
Yeah, that weighed on him.
Yeah, pun intended. I caught it too, Titus.
That was good.
So yeah, is there anyone else you can think of besides Jaquan? Maybe Daniel Giddens or AJ Harris?
Yeah, that whole recruiting class, Mickey Mitchell as well.
I'm like that for Michael Porter. I know the jury is definitely still out for him, but I got his jersey. But
he signed it. I took a picture of them.
I'm ready. I was actually there when Porter visited, and they came to my fraternity house, him and Kevin Knox, which was like the craziest day of 20-year-old Mai's life. But my player that will eventually be good is Michael Porter.
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr.
Okay.
Michael Porter Jr. Here's another one for you that a fellow, I think he's a Chicago guy. Yeah, he's definitely a Chicago guy, right? Jaleel Okafor?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely Chicago guy.
That kid, when he was at Duke, was
unstoppable.
I'm gonna do a lot of qualifiers here, but it makes sense in my head, so I don't really care. I'm just gonna say he was the greatest low post 18-year-old big man at post moves I've ever seen in my life. A lot of qualifiers on that one, but but it's facts. He was so polished. I don't think he was 18 at Duke. He was probably 17. He gets on the low, like he looked like he was like Akeem Olajuwon and Tim Duncan on the low block, like as a 17-year-old. Like he had his conditioning problems, he had his defensive problems. I don't think he necessarily loved basketball. I don't know if he does anymore. I think there's a lot of stuff that like went into why he's kind of had some problems since Duke. But my God, like you throw the ball to him on the low block, like the things he could do, he could turn and face, and like put the ball in the deck, spin move, hit a fadeaway, like baby hooks with both hands. It was unbelievable watching that kid play. I was like, man, that kid is really, really, really good. And I don't know. I don't think I'll ever give up on him. He's another one that like, if I was an NBA GM, I would still be offering him way too much money because I'd be like, we can figure him out. My team can be the one that figures it out.
You kind of mentioned Jaleel as being a guy that maybe doesn't love basketball. I have a list of NBA players who I think don't love basketball. I don't want to name them all because just in case they come on the podcast, of course. But number one on my list, and you tell me what you think. Blake Griffin.
Ooh, I disagree.
Ooh, interesting. What do you mean number one on your list? Like, he's the. I think he likes basketball the least amount.
No,
that's not famous guy.
No, that's not what I mean. I just mean that I guess it's like guys who play because they're good, and not because. Like, I don't know, the dude is 6'10", a freak athlete, he can dunk everything. I would play the sport too, but does he love it? I don't know.
This is fantastic. I love this. I get where you're coming from.
I do love Blake Griffin, though. And now he does, like, comedy shows. Like, I don't know, like, does he love basketball?
Well, you can relate to that as someone who played basketball and then switched over to being a public figure.
No. Yeah, but the difference is, I love basketball still, but, like, I didn't have a future in it, so it doesn't matter if I love it or not. He had a future, and he could not love it and still be great. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, he
Does my point have any, like, warrant, though? Like, you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree. I think you're...
It's a little bit of a stretch, now that I'm saying it out loud, honestly.
I think you're confusing Blake Griffin having interests outside of basketball with his disinterest in basketball.
Okay, so then... So what if I give you a different name?
Wiggins.
Okay. Yes, Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins is a better example.
I'll get behind you with Andrew
Okay,
Wiggins.
that's the other guy on my list.
Because, like, Blake went to... Since Blake got to Detroit, like, isn't he putting up just insane numbers and he's kind of back and he's
That's
learned how to shoot threes?
But Titus, that's not my point.
Dude, but hold on. He added a 3-point... He shoots threes now, and... You're not. If you hate basketball, you're not getting in the gym and like adding to your game.
You're right. That's the best counterpoint. 100%.
Like he's adding stuff to his game still, and yeah, and if you really hated basketball, he would demand a trade from Detroit because like why if you don't want to play basketball in Detroit, what the hell do you want to do in Detroit?
Good point.
I feel like but Andrew Wiggins. Let's talk about Andrew Wiggins. I mean, this is a guy like oh my god, one of the most naturally gifted guys to ever play college basketball. Just the way he moved on a court was like he was a freak. It was unbelievable. He had the longest arms, could jump out of the gym, just had a natural stroke. Like wasn't the greatest shooter, but like you could tell like man, he doesn't have a busted jumper. He's gonna be great. Like that dude. All the hype around him. I mean, here's all you need to know about how good of a recruit Andrew Wiggins was coming into Kansas. Jabari Parker was dubbed like the greatest recruit since LeBron. He was dubbed like one of the greatest recruits ever. All this, and rightfully so. Like Jabari coming out of high school, it's easy to kind of scratch your head looking back on it now because he's been hurt a lot and kind of had some problems. But Jabari coming out of high school, also a Chicago guy. He was unbelievable, and everyone was like hyping him up as like the best small forward recruit since LeBron, all that kind of stuff. Andrew Wiggins reclassifies into Jabari Parker's class. And in the snap of a finger, the greatest recruit since LeBron is not even the greatest recruit in his own class because Andrew Wiggins joins that class. So I remember when that happened, and I was just like, well, who the hell is this kid if he's better than Jabari Parker, who has been anointed as like the next big thing? And then you watch him, you're like, my God, he's going to be unbelievable. Like he could be you're kind of like seeing how good he is now. It's kind of like the worst case scenario. That's what's so frustrating. Is like you knew he was. He still puts up decent numbers in the league, and he's still like decent. It's just every time you watch him, you're like, how are you not averaging 27 points a game? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like if you cared even a little bit, you'd be unstoppable. And he could be the best defender. He could be Kawhi basically. He could be like a skinnier Kawhi if you really wanted to.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. But he's not. He's not.
Okay, so Andrew Wiggins officially jumps in the power rankings to the #1 NBA player who doesn't love basketball.
Yeah, right.
Titus, talking about these like players that may or may not, you said Jaleel is the best 18-year-old post player, blah blah. I have a good theory that you can use for stuff like that.
Okay.
So I'm not going to name names. I'm just going to use Joey as the substitute.
Okay.
So
why not?
When I was in college, there was a person in my fraternity, we'll say his name was Joey.
Oh, gee, I'm not even...
Okay.
Okay.
And he was the worst basketball player ever of players who would go to the gym and play pickup. So that's not counting like people who shoot granny style when they're shooting or like have never shot a layup or anything. So we developed the Joey basketball theory. Okay?
Okay.
And it can refer to anything like, oh my God, that girl over there is the hottest girl I've ever seen, Joey basketball theory. Because obviously there's girls that are way hotter than her, but they wouldn't count because like you can't put this random girl in the same class as like Kate Upton, Kim Kardashian, and stuff like that. So you can say Jaleel is the best low post player you've ever seen. Jaleel basketball theory, because that's not counting Kareem. That's not counting like dominant players like Shaq. So you by all means can say it. You just got to slap the Joey basketball theory in front of it. You can use that too.
Okay, I like that. I'm wondering.
That is so fake, Titus, because there's no way you followed that because I didn't follow it.
Yeah, no, I'm just not in the law. I'm just being gracious. Just trying to be nice.
I'll write it down. I'll write it down and text it to you.
Yeah, give him a flow chart.
I know the general sentiment. I know what you mean. You're removing all the legends. We're just talking about
He's the best of the worst.
Do you think, Joey? Do you think like there's anybody? I'm trying to think of like we should go find people that have never watched anybody ever play basketball, and then you and I play basketball in front of them, and then they can call us the greatest basketball players they've ever seen.
Yeah, that would be a fun show. Like if we traveled to like Cambodia and did that.
Yeah.
There we go. It sounds like we got a job.
Pretty sure they have basketball in Cambodia. Kevin Bacon made a movie about that. But,
okay.
yeah.
It was called Chem Basketball. All right, so we don't want to bug you for too much longer, but there's two things we need to hit. We wanted to say as a collective group, Joey and I, you're welcome for Jalen's phone number to have him on your podcast.
Yeah, wait, no, not as a collective. Titus, you know this story, but for the listeners, they don't know. I'm eating lunch with Jalen when he's in town right before he goes to training camp or whatever over the summer, and he goes, "Do you know this Mark Titus guy that's always tweeting about me?" and I said, "Yeah, he was a walk in Ohio State, like he was me before me or whatever." And he goes, "So like, what's his deal?"
Should I kick his ass or what?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, "No, dude, like this is his job. Like he has a shtick. Like this is what he does. Yada yada yada." And I'm like, "But you should go on the podcast because it would be hilarious." Fast forward, we connect. You guys connect. He tweets at you, whatever. He gets on the podcast. He was such a below average guest, wasn't he?
He was good. Like he gave us a good soundbite saying that Luka Doncic wouldn't have started on his Villanova team, which
That's true.
I really needed him to say that. But yeah, I expected, like we started the interview, I basically was just like, Jalen, please kill us. Like we deserve it. We've talked shit about you for a while.
The floor is yours.
The floor is yours. And he's like, nah, I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. And
Yeah, what a jerk.
Honestly, that's meaner than anything you could have said that was actually mean, like, taking the high road, screw you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah, who do you think you are? Because we had him on the podcast too, and obviously Jalen's one of my closest friends. So we were going back and forth, and he was giving me shit, I'm giving him shit, and then finally we're like, all right, let's get serious. Can you tell us some stories about you in Villanova, whatever? And we asked him for a specific story about Dirk, because obviously Dirk's a legend, and Jalen got to, as a rookie, experience Dirk's last year, which is pretty darn special. And Jalen said, there was one time where Dirk was he was making fun of me, and I forgot, but that's all I got. And we were like, and it was in person, and we were like, dude, are you fucking serious?
I said to him, this was my first like big time interview with an NBA player, and I go, dude, that's the worst story I've ever heard. Ever. Like, right in his face. He was like, sorry.
He was like, dude, the moral of the story is, it was very funny to have you and Jalen interact and, like, the beef realization and all that stuff. But he's just, like, too nice of a guy to go on these podcasts because he doesn't give you any material.
It is very, very frustrating. I wanted him to... I wanted to just get in a fight with him because, like, the whole point of I've never had anything against Jalen Brunson. I thought Jalen gets lost, and I think he understood this. I hope he understood this. I hope everyone understands this. It's that, like, I never thought he was bad. I never thought he was. I thought Jalen Brunson in college was a great player. Not even a very good, as Jay Billis likes to do, where he's like, not a good player, a great player. That was Jalen Brunson. Like, he was great. He should have been an All-American. He should have been But
he wasn't the best player in Villanova.
That he was not the best player on his team. It wasn't because I didn't like Jalen. It was because Mikal Bridges was so damn good.
Yeah.
That, like, I don't know. I just thought Mikal Bridges was, like, unbelievable. And And so I thought it was hilarious that Jalen was winning National Player of the Year awards when, in my opinion, he was the second best player on his team. Granted, it was like a Kobe Shaq situation. And everyone interpreted it as me, shitting all over Jalen and saying, I think Jalen sucks. It was not the case. I was like, Jalen is a Hall of Famer. Jalen's a legend. Jalen is everything. It's just so is Mikal Bridges, and I think he's slightly better. So I wanted to get into it with him. I wanted to fight with Jalen. I wanted to be like, yo, Mikal is better than you, right? Like, that was proven with the NBA draft.
He's like, yeah, he's a great player, and I respect him, and we're brothers for life, and Nova, V's up, man. Go Cats.
Yeah, he was just basically like, I agree with everything you just said. And I was like, what?
No, that's not what you're supposed to say. That's not what we talked about.
And then by the end of the interview, I'm flipping my opinion, and I'm like, no, Jalen, you were better than Mikal. He's like, no, I don't think so. I think Mikal was better.
Kate's looking at you like, Titus, like, this is not what we talked about saying.
Yeah, it was like the Bugs Bunny Elmer Fudd situation where I don't know. That was the first reference that came to mind. You're too young for that, Joey. Never mind.
Yeah, we got a couple more questions for you. We got some real things to talk about at the end, but we'll let you go.
Rapid fire, couple questions for you.
Okay, go.
Current NBA Buckeye that will have the biggest impact on their team this year.
Mike Conley, no question about it. D'Angelo Russell's the answer a lot of people want to say because Clay's out. But Mike is Mike. I couldn't be more excited. I bought League Pass just to watch Mike Conley play for the Jazz because he's going to be throwing alley-oops to Rudy Gobert. Like, he might throw 400 alley-oops. Sorry, this is rapid fire. I'm going to shut up. Mike Conley.
You're good. Speaking of the teams that you mentioned your allegiances to, I believe you had 3, and you're looking for a 4th. Do you have any update on your 4th team?
Yeah, so right now it's the Denver Nuggets because
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. There's a few things at play. I need a team that's a small market. I can't do a big market team. So sorry, I'm not picking the Bulls. Can't do big markets.
That's okay. I wouldn't expect that. Even though we have one of the best young rosters in basketball.
Look out for the smaller markets. I need a guy who played high school basketball in Indiana on the team, and they have that Gary Harris. That's very important to me. And like the other team I have is Sacramento Kings. They have Kyle Guy. The Jazz have Mike Conley. The Pacers have they're the Pacers. They're my hometown team. So there you go. So I need small market. I need Indiana high school kid. I need some sort of like out of shape white guy that I can point to and be like, that could be me if
you were 6'11" and a great passer and a great shooter.
Yes.
And
you already got that with the Jazz, with Joe Ingles.
Yeah, exactly. Joe Ingles fits the bill with the Jazz. That's very important to me to have like a guy you can point to and be like, that could have been me if like 2 things went different. If the butterfly effect, if a butterfly flapped its wings a little differently that one time, that could be me. I need that guy. And then lastly, I need a college star that I remembered, like a guy so like the Clippers wouldn't count because like Kawhi and Paul George weren't great in college. They were okay. Like Kawhi was relevant in college.
They were good, not great. Good, not great.
Yeah, but they weren't they're not you're never going to think about their college basketball careers as it's not like they captivated the country or whatever.
It sounds like the Kings with Buddy Hield there.
The Kings. The reason I'm cheering for the Kings is the entire Kings roster is basically college stars.
It's the best college team ever.
Vlade Divac plays college basketball more than I do. It's crazy to see who this guy brings in. Like, they get Kyle Guy, they have Caleb Swanigan, they have Yogi Ferrell, they have De'Aaron Fox, they have Marvin Bagley, Harry Giles. It's like, my God, dude, this guy, all he watches is Kansas and Kentucky and Carolina and and Buddy Hield, obviously.
Wasn't one of their drafts literally Marvin Bagley, Harry Giles, and Frank Mason?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Like the 3 best players in college basketball.
And they have Willie Cauley-Stein. Is he still on the team? I don't remember.
No, he's on the Warriors now.
Yeah, I remember looking at their roster one time, and basically they had 11 guys that either played at a blue blood, were a 5-star recruit, or there's some. I put some qualifiers on it, but it made sense to me. Where it was like every single guy on the team basically was very, very relevant to college basketball fans, and I thought that was hilarious. So anyway, my answer is the Nuggets because they satisfy all the.
So much for rapid fire.
All right, my last question before we get to talking about your foundation a little bit, because we're such honorable guys, we want to let you talk about your foundation. Dream interview guest for you.
Oh boy, dream interview guest. All right, I had to think about this. I think Coach K would be the first name that comes to mind, but he actually wouldn't be that fun.
That's such a soft answer. Good, I'm glad.
That wouldn't be that. So that like that's the first answer you think of, but it's like nah.
After we're talking all this shit about him.
Yeah, you got to put rapid fire answers as your biggest weakness on your resume for all these job interviews.
Yeah, by the way, that is a good point. I'm not
Rapid fire. We're gonna get 3 questions in 8 minutes.
Podcast is not made for rapid fire. This is the point. I'm good at filling airtime. I've gotten good at like. There's not shit to talk about, and I have to fill 45 minutes plus to do a show today. So let me just bullshit for a while. And
hey, bullshit is gonna bullshit. I'm with you.
All right, my answer, rapid fire, Bob Huggins, who I think might come on the show if I get a new show. Which I guess spoiler alert, I'm going to try to get a new show somewhere.
Yeah, but, he tweeted at you, right? That he would love to talk.
I told him, I was like, Bob, come on the podcast, and he was like, I jokingly said you should come on my podcast, and he was like, yes, absolutely, anytime, brother. And I was like, shit, I don't have a podcast.
But feel free to co-host an episode, and we'll have Bob Huggins on.
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll have a Huggy Bear on. I would say Bob Huggins. I'd also say Tom Crean is up there too, because I have a long history of Tom Crean, and he hates me. And I think that'd be a good episode where like people that have followed my career. If I tweeted out like Tom Crean is coming, if I tweeted out a picture of me and Tom Crean in a podcast studio, I think people lose their shit.
Yeah, the internet might explode.
That's former almost maybe the Mizzou coach Tom Crean.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people are almost the Mizzou coach.
All right, Titus, the last question before we let you do your
I know
show.
what this is going to be. I know what it's going to be, and the answer is no, Joey, but go ahead, ask it anyway.
Oh, okay. The question was, we talked about before the interview how you're going to flip it on us. Do you have any questions for us? That's what I was going to ask you.
Well,
and if it's no, then all right, we'll just move on.
How do we feel about David Ross? I guess that's my question.
It's so funny you say that because I thought we would get to that in some way, shape, or form, but it's an unbelievable question because we had ESPN reporter Jesse Rogers for the Cubs on last week on our live show, which I'm sure you saw my 7,000 tweets about. And he predicted that it would be David Ross, so basically a week from today, and boom, it's David Ross. I'm excited. I think he is a sexy hire, which I like. I think he will have a great command of the exactly. I think he'll have a good command of the clubhouse because dudes respect him, and he was friends with some of the guys. At least the leaders will say, hey, look, listen to this guy. Like, he's got our best interest in mind. I mean, a player's coach never really hurts. I think it could go really, really good or also really, really bad, but I'm excited.
Great take, Joey.
Thank you. What do you think?
I'm excited. I like the idea of it. I think it's hard for me to evaluate baseball managers because it's pretty clear that baseball managers have the least impact on the success of the team than like any other coach in major sports.
I agree.
I think LeBron would disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, like, basically, the only time baseball managers matter is, like, the playoffs when the starting pitcher is in the 6th inning and they have to decide whether they're pulling him or not. And that's what they get paid the big bucks for. And the rest of it is just kind of, like, standard shit. You just look at your spreadsheet, your computer, your algorithm, like, spit out what the decision is. And then you just look at the spreadsheet and you're like, yeah, do that. We're gonna bunt here. We're going to do a double switch for, most of it is just like playing a video game. I feel like anybody could do it. So in that regard, I think Rossi will be fine.
Joe Madden was definitely playing a video game because every 7th inning he made a move where I was like, is that allowed?
He'll do that. The one thing too, like, well, what if he just like expects guys to play? Like he was an Iron Man. Like he would play anytime he ever wanted to. Like that guy would never sit out for any reason for rest or anything. What if he just expects like every player to play? Like he does a thing where he just puts out the best lineup every single day. Never thinks about like John Lester pitched 2 days ago. And Lester's like, Rusty, my arm is dead. He's like,
no, dude, I'll catch for you like old times.
Yeah,
come on.
Every game matters. Every game matters, John.
And Rizzo plays 162 games and hits 78 home runs. That'd be fun.
But no, I can't really evaluate it because, like I said, like I don't think it ultimately matters that much. I think the Cubs, I don't think it ultimately matters.
He's like the Queen of England. England has like a president.
There's no way you came up with that. That he's the Queen of England. That's a good line.
That's a good
If
line.
being
I
a
know, it's
manager
good.
mattered that much, wouldn't like Bruce Bochy?
Can't make that up.
Good line.
You guys are like having a side conversation.
Hey, you can't believe I made that up. Sorry, what were you going to say about Bruce Bochy? I used to be a Giants fan a little bit.
I said, like, if being a manager mattered, like, explain the Bruce Bochy situation to me, where, like, the guy, like, every other year they win the World Series, and when they don't win the World Series, they're dog shit. And it's like, it's been the same guy coaching the whole time. So, like, what is he, like, just, he's a great coach some years, and other years he's not? Like, what's going on here?
No, you're right.
The answer is that it doesn't actually have that big of an impact. It just, like, it matters, the players matter more than anything. So, anyway, that was my one question. I love your answer, though.
Thank you.
It
I'm
could go
flattered.
horribly wrong, or it could go really well. We don't know.
I think it's either great or bad. But anyway, we ran out of time, so we can't ask you about the Club Trillion Foundation. It's too bad. Sorry.
All right, it's fine. Then you won't be on the voting panel.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna let you say what you got to say, and then I was gonna end with if you don't have me on the board, then I'm gonna send Patino's people after you.
I purposely you were the one person that came to mind when I was setting up the system of picking this committee, because I did not want to have you on it.
Yeah.
And I also didn't want I have nothing to do with the committee. And the reason why is because I don't want preferential treatment. I don't want guys like you texting me and being like, "Yo, put me on the committee."
That's exactly what I did.
And then there's only 11 spots, and right now we have over 50 submissions, and all 50 people are like hitting me up, it feels like, saying, "Put me on." And I'm like, well, there's 11 spots, guys, so I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I think there's like a week left to get the names in, and then I'm gonna turn it over to the board and let them pick. But for anyone listening that doesn't know, I'm starting a scholarship. I'm not starting it. We're starting it, Joey. We're all starting it. We're all in this together.
So now I'm involved. Okay, great.
Yeah, well, it's not about you, Joey. That's the whole point.
You're right.
My God.
Sorry.
It's not about you or I. It's about the walk-on.
It's about we. It's about us.
I'm starting a scholarship. Right as soon as I say it's not about anyone, I'm going to say a scholarship for walk-on basketball players around the country. I think it's a cool idea. I don't know. It's certainly something that's never been done before. Where every walk-on basketball player can apply, and at the end of the year, at the Final Four in 2020, we will award a check made out to their student loan officer, their student loan company, whatever it is, to pay back the cost of their loans. We're going to do that at the Final Four. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing right now. But I started the foundation to award the scholarship, so it wasn't me personally doing it. So we started the foundation. So the foundation, hopefully, I mean, like, the goal is, like, 20, 30, 50 years, whatever it is, like, it's beyond scholarships. It's beyond just basketball. We're doing it for other sports. We're doing, like, work placement programs so guys like Joey have real jobs and aren't doing podcasts.
Oh my God. You're like my mother.
Enjoy it while you can, buddy.
I got the rest of my life to work.
You got the rest of your life to work. You're doing
just like
fine.
Just like you. You're working right now.
When can I expect? I'm gonna invoice you guys. I'm gonna send you an invoice.
Yeah, feel free. We got like $4 if you want it.
Yeah, please. So yeah, that's it. I'm starting. We started that foundation. I'm sorry. We started the scholarship. So if anybody wants to, obviously money is very welcome. We welcome any money, but honestly. I don't. It's not even about the money. Like I can find the money on my own. I have enough rich friends that I can hit up. I think it'd be hilarious. By the way, I want Evan to sponsor the scholarship, and like I think that is the ultimate full circle, ultimate victory for Evan. Is that I start a scholarship for walk-ons,
funded by him.
He funds it, and it's named after him. Like I have to name it. If Evan Turner donates $50,000 to the Club Trillion Foundation, we have to name it the Evan Turner Scholarship. And I think that would be hilarious to bring the whole thing full circle, to name it the Evan the Turner Villain Scholarship, Evan the Villain Turner Scholarship. And he gets the last laugh on us. So Evan, if you're listening, and I know you are, that's a great idea.
He's a future guest, so.
Well, there you go. Yeah, pitch that idea to him. Tell him that.
Yeah, don't worry.
All right.
Okay, we have to wrap it up because we were expecting. I mean, our good friend Mark Titus. I mean, he gave us more time than we needed.
He doubled the time.
We were thinking.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Have Have we started recording yet?
No, we actually
I did that
are
to
ready.
Diebler. I did that to Diebler and Kraft.
Yeah.
When we
All
were
right, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest.
When we were with Diebler and Kraft, after like an hour, I just looked at them and I go, "Oh shit, guys, I haven't even started recording yet." And the look on Kraft's face, you would have thought he
Talk about rosy
You would have
cheeks.
thought he missed a shot against Dayton.
Oh, whoa.
Oh my god.
Relax.
Wow.
But in all seriousness, thank you. Really appreciate it. You're the man. This was a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll have you on maybe halfway through the season or something to talk college basketball more seriously. When you have a job and I have a job and Andrew still has a job and we all have jobs.
That will be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Good luck to you, man, with everything. We hope you enjoyed that interview with Mark Titus because we know that we certainly enjoyed it.
For me, it was a lot of fun. I know it was the first time you ever got to talk to him. Me and him there's a lot of back and forth. You know, he's kind of like my older brother. He probably doesn't even want to hear that. I don't even want to say that. But it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. He'll, like we kind of said, he'll be on again to talk periodically throughout the season because he obviously somehow he's qualified by knowing his stuff.
I'm excited to see what his next step ends up being.
Yeah, I wish I had any clue. It's so funny. He gave us no hints. Even when we stopped talking to him, he didn't give us any hints.
Like when we stopped recording.
Right, even when we stopped recording with him and off the record, we're like, "Hey, Mark, we're off the record.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell us what you're actually doing?" No, the dude does not flinch. He wouldn't tell us
No, he
anything.
wouldn't tell us jack squat.
Yeah, he wouldn't tell us. You wouldn't tell us jack squat.
But that was our first Lettermen Row episode. That was a very solid kickoff to our Lettermen Row.
So solid of a
lives.
kickoff that we aren't even gonna talk much longer in this because this is already like an hour and 95 billion.
So we're just gonna tell you this. We're gonna remind you of this. Follow us on Twitter at Drive the Lane Pod. Follow us on Instagram at Drive the Lane. Follow me on Twitter at Andrew Zolden.
And follow me on Twitter at JoeySmoke14. And then you might as well follow me on Instagram at the Joey Lane.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Andrew Zolden 23.
23.
But we hope you all enjoyed this episode. We are excited to bring you more and more good coverage.
And we want to hear from you. So now that we have a much larger audience, tweet at us.
DM us. DM me.
DM him.
DM our intern that runs Drive the Lane Pod.
No, but seriously, tweet at us, direct message us, whatever you got to do to get in contact with us. Respond to us, interact with us on Twitter. We want to hear what you guys think of the episode, what you guys want to hear in the future, guests you want to see, or guests you want to hear.
Go buy shirts from High Street Tees.
Yeah, the more
Use
shirts,
our promo code.
The more shirts you guys buy from High Street Tees, the more stuff that they'll be able to give to you guys from us, like this shirt, which you're
seeing or you're hearing. Here, listen to the shirt.
Yeah, if you guys want Drive the Lane T-shirts or maybe even
Sweatshirts,
maybe even towel gang shirts, then you gotta show them some love, or at least show us some love, because then we can tell them, hey, like, look at all these people. They want the towel gang shirts. They want the Drive the Lane shirts.
HighStreetTees.com/DTL. Promo code DTL15. We told you guys a lot about the upcoming college basketball season, and we're going to be telling you a lot more as the season rolls on. Joey, grab your belt.
We're looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Grab your belt. Buckle up.
This is so dumb.
And drive the lane.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and you know we got Buck IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.